Portugal is not the richest country in Europe. It is not the biggest. It is not the most powerful. Yet today, Portugal has become one of the main entry points into Europe. Every year, hundreds of thousands of people from Africa, Asia, the Middle East, and the Americas use Portugal as their first door into the European system. Not by accident, not because of chaos, but because Portugal designed it that way. So how did one of Europe's oldest nations quietly become one of its easiest to enter? And why are so many people using Portugal as a back door to the European Union? Portugal sits at the western edge of Europe. For centuries, it was not a destination country. It was a departure country. Millions of Portuguese left for Brazil, Angola, Mozambique, the United States, Canada, and France. Because of that history, Portugal developed something most European states never built, a migration tolerance system. While other European countries were tightening borders, Portugal was learning how migration keeps a small economy alive. By the early 2000s, Portugal faced three serious problems: an aging population, a shrinking workforce, and slow economic growth. The solution was not walls. The solution was people. Portugal didn't open its doors through one big law. It did it through many quiet systems. First, residency. Portugal created some of the simplest legal residency paths in Europe, including job seeker visas, D visas, family reunification, study routes, entrepreneur pathways, passive income residency, digital nomad visas, and long-stay temporary residence permits. Many of these allowed people to enter first, then regularize later. That is extremely rare in Europe. Second, time. Portugal made permanent residence possible after 5 years. Citizenship after 5 years. That is one of the shortest legal timelines in the EU. Third, flexibility. Portugal allowed status changes inside the country, multiple legalization programs, and recurring amnesty-style regularizations. This meant thousands of migrants who entered legally or semi-legally were able to become fully documented without leaving. That is how a country becomes a gateway. Not by noise, by systems. Portugal offers three powerful things. One, low barrier entry. Compared to countries like Germany, the UK, or France. Lower income thresholds. More flexible job requirements. More realistic sponsorship conditions. Fewer high-risk visa categories. For many migrants, Portugal is not the final dream. It is the first legal step into Europe. Once you hold legal Portuguese residence, you gain EU mobility rights, Schengen travel, and a platform for future opportunities. Portugal becomes a foundation country. 2. Regularization culture. Portugal is one of the few European states that repeatedly says, if you are here, working, contributing, and documented in some way, we will find a legal path. This has included expression of interest programs, work-based regularization, social security pathways, and long-stay legalization routes. Other European countries push people out. Portugal has historically tried to absorb them. That difference matters. 3. Citizenship strategy. Portugal does not treat citizenship as a reward. It treats it as an integration tool. 5 years of legal residence, basic language knowledge, clean record. That's it. This is why Portugal produces one of the highest naturalization rates in Europe. Once someone becomes Portuguese, they are not just Portuguese. They become European. And Portugal knows that. Portugal's openness is not charity. It is economics. Portugal depends heavily on tourism, services, construction, agriculture, care work, technology, startups, and foreign investment. These sectors require people. Local population decline, created labor gaps. Migrants filled them. Foreign residents revived. Small towns, abandoned buildings, declining villages, aging industries. Entire regions that were collapsing are now sustained by new populations. Portugal didn't open its doors because it was soft. Portugal opened them because it was strategic. When people say Portugal is Europe's back door, they don't mean illegal entry. They mean systemic entry. Here is the pattern many migrants follow. Enter Portugal legally. Secure temporary residence, work or build status. Transition into full legal residency. After 5 years, apply for citizenship. Gain full EU movement rights. Portugal becomes a starting node, not the destination. And because Portugal is inside Schengen, the European Union, and European labor frameworks, Portuguese status becomes a continental key. Portugal is not breaking EU law, it is using it. European law allows each member state to control its residence permits, its integration systems, its citizenship timelines. Once citizenship is granted, EU rights activate automatically. This means Portugal indirectly influences European migration flows. But because everything is legal, the system stands. Portugal has become Europe's soft entry, Europe's filter, Europe's legal on-ramp, not through headlines, through policy architecture. But the door is not unlimited. Housing pressure, cost of living rises, political pushback, infrastructure strain. Portugal is already tightening some rules, raising income requirements, adjusting visa categories, digitizing and centralizing immigration systems. The back door is not closing, but it is becoming more structured, which always happens after a gateway succeeds. Portugal didn't become Europe's back door because it is weak. It became Europe's back door because it understood something early. In the modern world, power is not only military, it is not only financial, it is demographic. Who enters, who stays, who builds, who naturalizes. Portugal chose to design movement instead of resist it, and that decision quietly reshaped its role in Europe. Portugal is not a loophole, it is a model, a country that turned migration from a crisis into an economic instrument, from a threat into a development strategy, from a border problem into a system advantage. That is why Portugal became Europe's back door, not by chance, by design. If you found this breakdown useful, support Global Ranks by liking this video, subscribing, and turning on notifications. This channel explores the systems that decide who moves, who rises, and who gets access. And if you want more deep dives into how countries quietly shape opportunity, stay with Global Ranks.